Show what's good, gamers. Today I'm gonna show you my build that I have on my main. It's FLAY Barbarian Bleed in Season 5. Despite the heavy nerfs for this class, I still believe it's one of the best builds, even in this season, and it excels especially in single target. You can see me running this with my friend Hells. He was playing Sorcerer, and that's why I went with the Rallying Cry. I'm running 3 shots basically to support most in the group basically. If I was running alone, I would go with Steel Grasp to help with AoE, because with this setup we are mainly single target for those bosses and elites. But yeah, that's just how it is. And this gear or this character in this like 3 days old in this video, I had like, I don't even have full masterworks. I don't have the right setups on the gear. Some temperings are just bad, but this just shows how this build is strong. So we're running dual wield here. It's 100x just for the glyph cleaver, because you get 12% multiplier crit damage from the glyph. And then we have a sword with Shard of Varathiel. I tried to do something else than 200 FLAY. I went with dual wield for the fast attack speed, so we stack the bleed on the target pretty well faster. It doesn't hit, the numbers aren't as huge as 200, but it builds up faster, so there's other version for this setup with Fields of Crimson. I want to try it out and test it out with Pain Gorgers, but yeah. If you're running solo and you need AoE, you just slap on Pain Gorgers, and that will just and Steel Grasp instead of Rallying Cry, and that will just solve the situation with AoE. And there is one thing that I see with Barbarian builds is they take counter offensive passive, which means you deal increased damage if you have 45 above 50% your HP, I believe. But a lot of the Barbs just don't have any 45 in the build at all, so that's crazy. So if you don't have Rallying Cry, I recommend putting War Cry and Iron Skin to 45. Although Iron Skin that heals is also very important. But you can see here my gear is 4 out of 4. Some are nearly 8 out of 12, but not a lot. And I was trying out Grandfather with the setup. I think it's better than normal legendary, but I didn't see that much, or I didn't notice that much of a difference. So if you don't have Grandfather, don't worry. And yeah, let's take a look at the builder. I'm going to show you what I worked with. I'm going to put this on the side here so you guys can see some footage. But yeah, first things first, just a look at the skills here. Now it's this little, I'll talk about like the Rallying and Cry and Steel Grasp. If you're running solo, you can go Steel Grasp in a group. If you have AoE in the group, someone with that build, you can go with Rallying Cry. But this is the basic setup. Technique, we go with 200x. There is nothing really else because we are trying to stack vulnerable to hit hemorrhage cap, which they kept, by the way. It's like a new number, but more about it later. Now, let's just take a look at the skill tree, then Paragon, and then gear at the end. So, starting over the FLAY, obviously fully maxed out, and we want to take the upper passive here for even more damage, bleeding. Next up, we want Endless Fury. Now, I'll explain how this build works before we get into this. Actually, it will be better, right? So, this new item, Shard of Varathiel, it makes your basic skills deal more damage at the cost of Fury. So it's 25 Fury resource for your FLAY in this setup. So there is little secret sauce how to get resource generation, because a lot of people seem to struggle with it. So basically, even without Stardust Sky, you do not need Stardust Sky for this build. It works without. I played with it before I dropped this. It's fine. So we have this one, costing resource. What you want to do is, what I like to do is, there is a new aspect called Anger Management. This one gives you a permanent Berserk if you're above, certain Fury, but you lose Fury per second. It's 2 Fury per second in game. It says here 4, but it's not true. It's 2. So how to get above 40 Fury and not counter this Fury per second? So on the boots, I have Fury per second. If you have it on chest or headpiece, if you don't have uniques, you can put it there as well. I actually died in this one because I was reading chat. But yeah, Fury per second, I do have it on boots. And now this Fury gets amplified by any resource generation on your gear. So if you're really struggling, you can put resource generation as a temper on the jewelry. But I ran with Warcry cooldown. And in the skill tree, what you want to aim for is definitely Endless Fury, because your basic skill will generate more Fury. Because at the same time, where Varathiel makes your basic skills cost Fury, you also still gain Fury by using basic skills. So we have 15 Fury by default, but the skill costs 25, so we need to counter it, right? So first generation is Endless Fury, and next one is Prolific Fury. This is gonna keep us, topped up with Fury. I don't struggle at all. I'm always capped. So that's why Edge Masters, for example, the aspect comes in handy. But yeah, while berserking, you get increased generation, and I just explained how to get permanent berserk. So This is really amazing for any Barbarian build. I feel like, especially early on, before you get any items, so I can really recommend that. But yeah, the skill tree, right? So the FLAY fully upgraded. We want like increase bleeding. Just talk about this bad boy. Rallying Cry, I like to go with 45 here, so we can proc the counter-offensive passive here for damage increase, but if you want more generation, you can definitely go with the upper one here, but we don't need it at all. Challenging Shout, I like to go with the first. I don't like to go with increased HP, because whenever you use Challenging Shout and you have 45 up, that 45 is gonna get cancelled basically, because your HP pool is getting increased, but 45 stays the same. So this will basically cancel the 45 until you gain it back from the Shout or War Cry here. That's my personal preference. We go with Tough as Nails to apply bleeding on the enemies that hit you from far away. So we proc the damage reduction from Rite of Harrogeth out here. Next up, we go with the passes for increased HP. They nerfed this one in this season. Martial Vigor for damage reduction. Iron Skin, I like to go with the heal here in this footage you see. But if you feel like you don't have enough 45, I would probably switch to 45 if I did not run Rallying Cry and then went with Seal Grasp. War Cry, we want to max this out for damage increase and 45. Booming Voice for the shouts uptime. Movement speed, some extra points to be faster. Aggressive resistance for damage reduction and also Prolific Fury generation. I like to put points in Rapture for attack speed. You probably don't even need that, especially dual wield. So this is kind of like a personal preference. You can put these 3 points in Pit Fighter, for example. Cut to the Bone, you want to max it out. You want to get the ranks to Cut to the Bone on Amulet. Next up, Counter Offensive for damage increase with 45 up. I got Duelist for attack speed. Once again, these can be put somewhere else if you want to, if you feel like. And obviously Gushing Wound, which got nerfed pretty heavily, but it's still the best for the setup. Let's go over a Paragon board. I'm going to show what I'm working with. So the first board, we go with Cleaver. This is the X glyph, where you have multiplier 12% crit damage and damage with X. That's what we run in dual wield. Second board, Carnage here for attack speed. I like to put ambidextrous or any glyph that buffs magic nodes, because we get damage while berserking, also damage reduction. This goes well with the Blood Rage cap in the Paragon board. I will talk about later. Hemorrhage, I would aim for this one ASAP, because bleed really does scale pretty well with this one. So this one is capped at 45%. Last season it was uncapped. That's why the bleed builds were crazy. So the current number for vulnerable, which you want to aim for, is 350%. 350%, I think I'm saying it right, is the cap. You want to aim for that. And yeah. Next up, I like to go for Bonebreaker board over here, because I really like this cluster for HP increase. And I like to put Exploit because I like the dexterity setup, everything on the way. Damage reductions, end of the board is Decimator. Very good because we overpower from Rapture and we also, vulnerable, so that's damage increase, pretty good one. This is about amazing board for willpower. If you're overcapped on vulnerable, you can take these points away and put them somewhere else, maybe like damage reduction in here, and even at the board, I will show it in a second. Extra HP here, why not? 6%. And a potion healing, I mean, why not, right? Next board, we go with Warbringer. This one is only used for the glyph. I like to put Martial in here because it buffs magic nodes. Once again, that's resistances, so that's going to be even more than 1.5%. Once again, if you're overcapped resistances, you can, put this point away and put it somewhere else. That's up to you. And last board, we got Blood Rage, which is the damage increase. You want to cap. The amount of damage while berserking is 300% for this cap. It's actually 296% because it rounds up. But yeah, 20% is the cap for this bad boy. And I like to put the Wrath here, which is even more generation with your crit strike. So you want to aim on crit strike a lot. And also critical damage here. I might put some points from the board and maybe like redo and put it somewhere like a heavier dexterity board. But so far, this setup gave me the most amount, of the points Paragon board on the Paragon board for the glyphs and stuff like that, and the important passives. The gear I'm rocking with, we got Harlequin Crest. I actually got triple GA Harlequin Crest yesterday. It was not in this footage. I got it at the end, so I didn't play with it yet, but it rolled GA on life, armor, and cooldown reduction. Pretty wild. I was shocked. You will see it on the shorts, YouTube shorts on my channel. Rage of Harrogeth for cooldown reduction and also damage reduction from bleeding enemies. Great chance, also good stuff. Max life damage over time. On the gloves, I like to rock Edge Masters. We'll always Captive Fury. Great chance, strength, crit damage. I'm a big fan of stacking strength for FLAY Barb. Barrier generation, try to get it as much as you can. I'm able to get it on 3 pieces here. It really goes well with Iron Skin. The survivability with this build is insane. And damage while berserking to cap it for Blood Rage. On the pants, Iron Warrior, the best aspect for Barbarian, I would say. Iron Skin gives you unstoppable also damage reduction up to 35 if you have max roll. You want to get ranks to FLAY, resistance to all elements, and strength once again. Barrier generation and Iron Skin cooldown reduction on the pants, very good stuff. Hectic aspect with the amount of attack speed we have. This will proc like crazy. Movement speed, fury per second, ranks the Warcry. I would probably want to trade movement speed for strength, even more damage. Because, yeah, the movement speed, I mean, especially in this mode, Iron Horde, where, you know, mobs just swarm you don't really need movement speed. So I might swap this for strength, we'll see. Barrier generation, even more movement speed. Now, Twinder, we want to put the Moonrise on the big damage increase on the Twinder. Strength, a vulnerable, a max life, great damage, and FLAY duration, very important. For the cap of Hemorrhage, you need to get vulnerable greater affix on a Twinder and then proc vulnerable once on a Masterwork, I believe, or twice for the cap. I'm not too sure. Depends on the board, on the vulnerable passives. The sword I talked about, basic skill, ranks, attack speed, all stats, very good sword. And we'll try to look for a greater affix. Banner dual wield, anger management with the X, strength, max life, crit damage twice actually, and FLAY duration. 200 inner calm. You could probably put edge masters on the 200 and swap these things out. Swap these two aspects out would probably be better because a lot of the mobs keep moving. So it's kind of up to you. Once again, crit damage, life, crit damage twice, life, strength, and FLAY duration. Same story as the one-hander. All the weapons pretty much same, except this one is vulnerable. Starless Sky. If you don't have Starless Sky, you can use, you should aim for these two rings: strength, crit chance, and crit damage. Damage while berserking and Warcry, cooldown reduction. And Amulet is also Warcry, cooldown reduction. You could maybe get this away, or you could put Iron Skin cooldown reduction instead if you want. Ranks to cut to the bone, crit chance, and strength percent. I found this amulet with greater affix on cut to the bone and strength percent for about 400 million. No one really plays FLAY. No, I haven't seen any builds even for FLAY Barbarians, so all these items are pretty cheap. Diablo.trade, go after it, or on official Discord. I really recommend that. And we put adaptability on the amulet for damage increase and Bolt Chieftain on the shouts. We probably could drop this because our uptime on shouts is ridiculous. So you could maybe put like, what was it? That was the RSK, like rapid aspect for even more attack speed if you want to. Or elements is pretty good damage increase as well if it procs on physical. I talked about the items here and the overall the stats on the gear, about Grandfather and what you should prio as the stats. Just gonna read about it later, or I will put this link obviously in the description in the pinned comment. Now with the gems, we want to go with the crit damage. Once again, you kind of have to play around with your vulnerable and crit damage numbers. Mainly, your goal is to hit Hemorrhage, so you can put even vulnerable gems in the weapons if you want to. We got Amethyst for strength on the armor. If you struggle with survivability, you can put rubies for HP. Amulets and just jewelry, go with diamonds to cap out resistances. And here's the rotation, how you should play this build. With Shouts being the first one for buffs, he should always have these up, especially challenging Shout for survivability in these high modes. Rupture for attack speed, and just to start off with stack and FLAY as much as you can with the bleed. And then once the HP bar of the enemy turns dark red, you pop it with Rupture and Iron Skin just to get out of CC because of unstoppable aspect. And then you can obviously use it for the damage reduction and the barrier. So this will be pretty much the setup. And for Consumables, I like to use attack speed with Lucky Hit. Let me pause this video. So attack speed with Lucky Hit, amazing potion. Great chance, great damage potion isn't too bad either. And they're pretty rough to farm. I mean, craft, I feel like. The lack of Energy Breath. I mean, we don't need Energy Breath for enchanting, but still. So yeah, let me know if I missed something, but this should be it. So once again, there's a second version with Fields of Crimson. I will try it, and Pain Gorgers and Steel Grasp. I will try it today on the stream. Also stream every day on Twitch as well as on YouTube. The link will be in the pinned comment section. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, you guys take it easy and peace. Also, if I miss anything on the video, I'll just put it in the comment section. All right. Thank you very much. And until next time, see ya.